Hello. So it's been a while since I did anything with RimWorld. The channel started on Twitch as a RimWorld channel, and I thought it would be interesting and a worthwhile effort to look at what is actually being done in one of the longest lasting jokes in the RimWorld community, and to kind of critically analyze it. So that is the 8 without table mood debuff. 8 without table gives a colonist a -3 mood debuff for a day. This is often laughed at because it is compared to the -3 mood debuff for when another colonist dies, or if a colonist is banished from the colony. Both of those last for, I believe, 6 days. And people have largely been incredulous for years that eating without a table is so severe. There are countless jokes and comics and stuff about a colonist snapping because they did not get to eat without a table. However, Ludeon Studios is doing something very compassionate here in highlighting the effects that not having your material needs met has on someone's psyche. So I have never personally experienced being unhoused. I thought it would be a worthwhile experiment to actually take the abstraction seriously and to take that at face value and take a simple meal that I have been carrying for a while and eat it minus all of the niceties that come with having a dining environment. We're going to do that, and in the course of that, I'm going to be trying to be as introspective of the effect that it has on me as an individual. So, here we go. So, I have my simple meal. This is a bean chili, spicy. It's very delicious. I've made it just lukewarm on account of I've been carrying it around, most of the day, so it's not fresh out of the oven or whatever. I don't have utensils with me because I wouldn't necessarily be carrying those. Obviously, I'm taking liberties with having a bowl, so there's that, but I have no table, and while I could sit, I'm choosing not to because I don't want to get dirt all over my jeans. So, yeah, I suppose my fingers have to work for this. It's not pleasant. I mean, it tastes fine, but what I'm getting is kind of a anxiety reaction each time I'm going for a bite of food, which I didn't expect. And I suppose part of it is I'm getting a kind of sharp reminder that this could be a much more pleasant experience. Yeah, it's difficult to describe exactly. But it really is kind of highlighting what's missing. It's emphasizing that I'm not able to just sit back and enjoy the meal. It is a much more deliberate act of just fulfilling my nutrition needs, rather than it being an experience. I suppose this puts it a little bit more in line with how a dining table is abstracted. So, dining rooms in RimWorld, they're just created by the existence of a table, but one assumes, well, and chairs, one assumes that in a dining experience you also have like flatware and napkins, things of that nature. I'm not even having a napkin, it feels weird. It's rather unpleasant on my fingers, but so, I have lost people in my life, and of course the moodlet in RimWorld for simply losing another colonist, not like a husband, but another colonist in general, is less than eating without a table. It lasts for longer, but the impact is the impact is lesser, and I can understand why. So, having lost acquaintances, you kind of recognize that there's a bit of a hole there, that you're not going to be able to talk to them again. But it's kind of in the background. You'll have occasional moments where you recognize it. The trouble here is this is a very active thing. I can't push this to the back of my mind, the absence of material improvements to my quality of life. So, I would normally be able to eat this whole bowl, but it is getting really difficult. Not because I'm full, it's just, this is just a really unpleasant experience. And you may say, oh, well, you would just do finger foods all the time. And that may be true, that you could try to do that. Those are, frankly, a fair bit more difficult to make, especially if you lack a lot of resources. This is much easier to make, and this would be something you could make with like a campfire, and you have beans and some other stuff. So, I suppose this is kind of the point and why that moodlet is as strong as it is, and why we shouldn't laugh at it. It's easy to kind of scoff at when we're thinking, when we're in a position of privilege where we can think of eating without a table as like enjoying hors d'oeuvres at a party or something, where you have a little plate and a couple little snacks on it and you're just chatting with a friend or whatever, you have a little toothpick. That's not what eating without a table actually is. So, sorry, dogs are barking at. Hi, boys. Hi. Dear. It's that sharp reminder of what you don't have and what you should be able to sit back, relax, and enjoy. That's what I really think needs to be emphasized, and why Ludeon Studios got it right when they set that threshold of, this is actually a pretty strong moodlet. It fades quickly because this is not going to stick with me. it's not an experience that is so terrible that it's going to ruin the rest of my day. But it certainly, for this duration, has been fairly anxiety-inducing, and has been a stark reminder that this whole experience could... Like, I normally love chili, but this is just... I haven't really been able to focus on enjoying the taste of it because I've been swallowing kind of a stress reaction. And long story short, we need to have more compassion and sympathy for those without, because that's a significant number of people in the world. And, you know, RimWorld portrays that accurately. The lack of eating without a table, sleeping on the floor, sleeping outdoors, sleeping in the heat, or, you know, being in the heat. All of these things can kind of compound to make someone utterly miserable. That's accurate. Especially if you're, you know, forced to like eat raw food or something as well. So I'm gonna stop here. I actually am gonna break down and eat the rest of this at a table, because this really is getting to me and affecting me much more than I thought it would. So yeah, I'm gonna cut there. Okay, so I don't know if that is useful to anyone. I don't know if that elucidates what Ludeon Studios is doing with their collection of moodlets. I hope that it adjusts maybe some people's thinking in how they look at that moodlet and what it actually is doing in the game. I know several people have called for changes to the game where either that moodlet gets removed because they think it's absurd, or I've seen it proposed where rather than it being a debuff, you know, a negative mood, where people get a mood buff if they eat at a table. Both of those I think are terrible suggestions, or based on what I have kind of just experienced. And you can try this experiment yourself if you want. It really did kind of shake me a bit. You know, it wasn't like the end of the world or anything, but it very much did sour my mood, so to speak. It did create a very strong sense of anxieties about the things that I was lacking in the immediate moment. So I can definitely see how that would be affecting someone, and we should keep that in mind, not only in the game context, but as the fact that the game is intended to be a simulation. We should understand what that is simulating, and that is a very real thing in the real world. Until next time, take care.